laundry, Keith. I'll fold your laundry. I'll make your bed, Keith. I'll make your bed too. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in for my review this week of Married at First Sight, Season 9, Episode 6. Well, the time has come. The couples must leave the beautiful island of Antigua. And they are definitely sad. I'm sad. I'm sad to see my island go bye-bye. But hopefully they all walked away with some kind of memory of my beautiful, precious island, such as this. This is a little bit of sand and seashells from both Antigua and Barbuda. Actually, we are a two-island nation. I don't know if anybody really recognized that, or I'm not sure if that was a fact that they shared on the show. Or, you know, I know, guys, this is just my way of like showing you guys all the like little things that I have from Antigua. My initial thoughts for this episode are, I don't know, like Matt is like low-key boring. You know, I have to kind of keep reminding myself that he actually has really interesting things about him, like him, you know, speaking other languages, even whether unless it's just Spanish, you know, but like claro que sí. I have to remember that. I have to remember that he's a musician who like plays a bunch of instruments. Remember that his friends shared that with Amber, because otherwise he's just coming off as like a little bit of a dud. Matt, come on, liven up, bruh. You guys, I know that Keith is my favorite, but like I feel like I'm giving him the MAFS award this week for being patient. He has the patience of a saint, don't you think? So I don't agree with all of the couples living at the same apartment complex. Okay, so that's one of the things that they share, that they are offering the couples, or really giving the couples, apartments to share because they want them to be on neutral ground. So perhaps past participants shared their struggle with deciding between moving between each other's homes, although they've always either given them a budget or given them an apartment to stay in, but this time it's like they're kind of making it a mandate. So I kind of feel some ways about it. I think that them staying at the same complex gives them more access to each other, which yes, may give them more support, but I feel like it just opens the door for more comparison. Like, oh my gosh, you guys did that? Or wait, what? We didn't do that yet. Or like, oh, you guys are not having issues with that. Well, we are. But, you know, giving them the apartment and making it kind of like a mandate, while yes, it gives them both opportunities to be on neutral ground. So like there's one less thing to kind of get in the way. But then I feel like, but isn't that taken away from the real lifeness of this real marriage? I don't know. And yes, Greg gets the housing award. Everybody want to move into Greg's house. What? Black Twitter went crazy. Greg, you like seriously, if we gave these black women an opportunity to line up outside of your house, you will have it, the line will wrap around the house, bruh. They coming for you. I feel like if I could do some changing of couples, I feel like I'm gonna match up Matt with Jasmine from Philly last season, because Matt over here talking about, I don't ever want my woman to support me. You know, I never asked my woman to support me or anything like that. Well, Matt, Jasmine is right there with you. She wants to live that life, okay? She would definitely be like, I don't need to work. I want to depend on you, bruh. Okay, because remember, that was the major thing between her and Will. Okay, so Matt, you might want to give Jasmine a call, you know, if it don't work out with you and Amber. She not about that working life. She want to be at home. She want to be having them babies and cooking for her man, okay? And cleaning, being at home. That is exactly what Jasmine wants, okay? And then I would switch Amber with Will, okay? Because Will has no problem. He wants you to work, okay? He wants you to do that fitty, okay? So your 80K will be quite attractive to Will. What y'all think? Switcheroo, if it don't work out, let's talk about Sister Gianna and Brother Greg. Help is on the way. Help is on the way. What your girl up to, y'all? What is your girl up to? Well, let me tell you, I am dressed in my church best, or my first lady best, actually. Black Twitter came for Gianna again and said that she was dressed like the church secretary. And then, of course, there's still people saying that she was dressed like the first lady. So I decided to channel that. And even though y'all can't see, your girl also has her maxi on. Okay. Ankle length. No, I do not need a prayer shawl when I sit down. Anyway. Oh boy. So what happened? So yeah, so we're talking about Gianna and Greg. So, oh, and wasn't that a classic? Oh, Whitney. Gianna over in Greg's house acting like she on an episode of House Hunters. Yes, Gianna is like, oh my gosh, you got a screened-in porch and a deck? You got the wainscoting? You got the chair rail? I mean, like, what's up with that crown holding? I mean, you got the double oven. Gianna was loving it, okay? And the sad thing is that Gianna was acting more excited about Greg's house than she was even about Greg. So, Gianna, girl, come on. You got less than 8 weeks now. I mean, yes, I feel you, whatever. Yes, we are all very excited about Greg's house, but sweetie, all right, open up. Yes, Greg got a whole house. You know, I mean, Greg is clearly becoming everybody's favorite, you know. Yes, Black Twitter is proposing to Greg left and right. So when Pastor Cal meets with Gianna and Greg, he asks them how things are going, and Gianna shares that she's a little uncomfortable with the compliments, and Pastor Cal just calls her out. He was like, Gianna, what's that about, sis? You know, and even though I still feel Gianna, I understand. In real life, like, I totally understand Gianna. Like, I get it. But for the show, sister girl, no, I'm still saying, you know, please just let that battle go. And I also thought about it. I was like, you know what? I really love to see Greg loving on his woman, this beautiful Black woman, chocolate sister. You know what? Like, and there's an audience to hear this, and that doesn't happen very often, you know? So I'm just like, you know what? Go ahead, Greg. Yes. Come with the compliments, you know? And, but again, I still feel like if Gianna was talking more and open more and let him in and was able to be more vulnerable, I feel like there wouldn't be all of this empty space that Greg feels like he needs to fill, which I feel like that's part of where the compliments are coming from, especially since it's like a lot. Like, if there was constant dialogue between them, I feel like it would find its place and it would be more appropriate and perhaps even a little bit more genuine. Not saying that Greg does not feel the way he feels, but I just, you know, having to say it like all that time, I feel like Greg is an intellectual. Greg, I think he is somebody that does enjoy talking and opening up or whatever. And I think that if he had a back and forth dynamic with Gianna, they would be talking all the time and having really genuine, deep conversations. You know? I feel like Greg ain't about that celibate life. You know, I mean, even though he is, obviously it's not like he's not waiting with her, he is. And he's not pressuring her, but he definitely is frustrated and it is coming out a bit. You know, Gianna at least does, you know, confess in a way that she is the one kind of holding back when it comes to the physical intimacy. And but she does note that she hopes that she does not go too slow so that she, you know, kind of turns Greg off, which I'm like, okay, yeah, girl. But yeah, Greg ain't about that celibate life. You know, even though they are married, so yes, he is within his right. But you know, but within marriage, we all know that consent still needs to occur between two people, you know? And yes, when you do get married, it is like you are agreeing to say, yes, I will have sex with you. We will be intimate in all these ways, physical, you know, emotional and mental, whatever. But it still requires consent. And, you know, when two people are not on the same page, which can happen all the time. So we'll see. When I think about Keith, like, Keith is being very patient without the frustration, or at least he's not showing it if he is, you know? So it's like, it's weird. Like, Greg, but you like straight up in the church, elevation again. I'm calling y'all out again. Past the verdict, what y'all teach. But like, how is Keith, this spiritual but not religious and person who doesn't seem to be going to church or whatever, and I understand, look, I'm not sleeping on that, but how is he coming with the patience of the saints, and Greg over here is like, come on, and I'm just like, okay, y'all, I mean, delayed gratification, it's a part of self-control, and I mean, it is such a characteristic of the Christian life. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Greg, it's not that he's being inappropriate, but to me, he's coming off as though he has not had to practice delayed gratification and, you know, patience and self-control. I mean, it's just like, oh, and the other thing, why was Greg acting brand new when he saw all of Gianna's stuff? Oh, she got so much stuff. And what? All these brushes for makeup and all that? What? And I'm like, Greg, you done lived with a woman before. Where's, hello? I mean, I know every woman is not the same, but like, come on, Greg. Like, he acting brand new, like he ain't never known that women have a lot of stuff. And then also a lot of makeup stuff. Come on. Okay, let's move on to Amber and Matt. All right, your girl is back. Okay, so Amber and Matt. I'm concerned, y'all. I am concerned. I'm worried and concerned for Amber. Amber is really touchy-feely. Like, she is just like all over Matt, just like wanting to just lay on him, you know? And I think Matt is super awkward with it. I think that he's okay if it always leads to sex, but otherwise, I just don't think that he's like that. And I think it makes her come off clingy. And yeah, so, but Matt has not opened up. He's not really allowing himself to be vulnerable. Where I think that's where the cuddling takes place. I mean, to me, it seems backwards that you can, that sex is something you could do easily in a sense. But then something like cuddling or holding hands or, you know, whatever seems more intimate. When Pastor Cal meets with Amber and Matt, you know, he asks them about how things are going. And of course, they talk about their little tiff in Antigua, you know, where Matt felt humiliated by Amber, saying that she could carry them for a time so that he would not go abroad. Okay, remember the context. I liked Pastor Cal's position and his advice to Matt. He was like, you know what? I know that you are talking about being independent and you are comfortable with being independent, and that's what you've been doing, you know, all your life up until now. But he's like, the good thing about marriage and choosing a partner and choosing a life partner is that you are essentially giving up some of that independence and being able to open yourself up to dependency, you know, not in a negative way. And it's not a negative thing. So the idea is simply that you don't have to do this alone. Like, you have someone to walk through life and then know that, okay, yes, if I'm down at a time, then this person, you know, can be there to support me in a way that perhaps I wouldn't have had if I was just living as a single person. Pastor Cal then talks with Matt and Amber separately. So when he talks to Amber, she basically is just gushing about how she feels like she is about to fall in love with this man, even though she is cautious. But homegirl is all in. She is all in. Pastor Cal lets Matt know Amber thinks the world of him. And it's not like Matt's response was like blushing, like, oh shoot, like she's feeling me, you know. No, like Matt was just like it was totally like nervous laughter, you know, embarrassed blushing, because I think Matt is just like, crap, you know, like he ain't ready. Matt is not ready. I mean, I'm still hopeful for all of the couples. I really, really am, even them, but they are, I think, the couple that I'm most concerned about because of Matt. Amber is all in. Pastor Cal did say something about both of them needing to open up and whatever, but I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't think that Amber is doing anything that she shouldn't be doing. I think that Amber is ready. I think that she's open. I think that she's being and allowing herself to be vulnerable, but I think she's being properly cautious by recognizing that, like, if this doesn't work out, this is going to be a blow to her, another blow. Amber also brought up the fact that, you know, she feels that she's at this disadvantage because Matt has lived with significant others before and she's never lived with a significant other, so she feels she's hoping that she can do whatever or whatever. And I'm like, Amber, no, I don't think that you are at any kind of disadvantage. In a way, I feel that Matt is at the disadvantage. Because on the Unfiltered episode, I don't know if you guys saw that, Jamie Otis asked the participants, like, what is something that has kind of been a hindrance to you in your past relationships? And Matt's answer was his lack of commitment, or his lack of being able to commit or wanting to commit. And Jamie Otis was like, whoa, that's a big one. And I'm like, that's a big one. That is the one. I mean, you cannot have a relationship without commitment. Commitment is the security in a relationship. So with Amber thinking that his experience gives him an advantage, I'm like, no, I think that is like a fallacy. That experience always means that somebody is has an advantage, or is in a better position than somebody else. Matt also shared that, like, with Pastor Cal, that he's just hoping to make Amber feel comfortable because, it's easy for him to feel at home in a new place because he is used to moving around. But he really wants Amber to feel settled and to feel comfortable and whatever. And I'm like, Matt, you are so projecting. You are the one who has issues with settling down and feeling comfortable. That's why you can just up and leave all the time, because you have the issue with committing. It is you. Like, this is not, like, you're the one who's uncomfortable. You're the one who has issues with settling down, not Amber. Homegirl is ready. Her roots are ready to be dug in. Like, she's already there. Later on in their segment, we see Matt going into the hall bathroom because, Lifetime provided the nice apartment for these couples. I mean, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. What? So he starts setting up shop in the second bathroom, and then Amber is like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I just feel like I would give you space." And I mean, for me, Matt, yes, I would be like, oh my gosh, he loves me. Yes, I want the master bathroom all to myself, You can come visit when we want to shower together. But, like, otherwise, oh my gosh, I would feel so loved. But Amber is triggered. She feels like this is him abandoning her, and she is not feeling it. She's like, nope, I did not sign up to live with a roommate. You need to come back to where I am. I can see where the experts and producers match them up to help each other out. So Amber will help Matt essentially, or should help Matt open up, because he is somebody that is distant. He is someone that is not going to be easy to open up and be vulnerable with. And because she's so, like, kind of like clingy, touchy-feely, she's going to really need that and require that from him in order for their relationship to work. But at the same time, he might be able to teach her, like, hey, even if I set up shop in this bathroom, that doesn't always mean abandonment. Like, even though we're together, that doesn't mean we have to be glued together 24/7. Like, we can have our time separate, and then we can come back together when needed, and that's okay. So just because somebody gives you some space and distance doesn't mean that they're about to abandon you. Next, we'll talk about Jamie and Elizabeth. So we get to see Jamie's apartment. Super nice. I love Jamie's apartment. I would live there too. Jamie is really neat, really organized, but also has a really nice sense of style. I actually think, and I think he thinks this too, that the apartment that they're moving into is, I think it's a downgrade for Jamie. So Elizabeth is definitely a little bit intimidated by Jamie's super neat and organized apartment. But, to be honest, her apartment is really not bad. Like, it's a nice apartment and it's pretty orderly. Elizabeth has 2 dogs and Jamie has a cat. And Elizabeth's dogs, I mean, they are her babies and she just loves them. And she wants, obviously, Jamie to love them as well. When they get to their new apartment, she suddenly just pulls out one of the glasses, that they have there, and that are just like, regular people glasses, and puts some water in it and lets her dog start to drink out of it. And Jamie's just like, he definitely looks grossed out. But, like, for real, if he had, like, legit OCD, he would have had a fit. But he didn't. I think he probably just made a mental note, like, will not drink out of that cup. Nope. So he's just like, Beth she's quirky. You got to go with the flow. You never know what you're going to get with this girl. She is all over the place. Beth is a character. Some of the quotes that Beth said this week are, I don't care where I am. Jamie's going to make everything better. Oh my gosh, saging your apartment is so important. And that she did. I will say that I'm liking Jamie more and more every week. Like, I feel like his label was Mr. Picky, but I don't think it really applies anymore. Maybe it's because that Elizabeth checked off so many of his boxes, but he's pretty patient, actually. And being that she's all over the place and he is super neat and orderly and everything, he's not really losing it. And he's being very open, and I think he's also being very committed to the process. When Pastor Cal met with Jamie and Elizabeth, he talked to them about communication, and he suggested that they do something called a naked moment, which I really like the concept, because he said either individual can call for a naked moment, and at that point everybody has to put their phones down. They have to turn the TV off, turn off any distraction, and just be completely focused on their partner and what they're saying. And that's where a partner can share a concern, can share a complaint, I guess, but also maybe also share a need that they feel like they are not getting, but it means like, hey, I'm completely clued into you, and I'm going to give you complete and focused attention, and then we are going to address this issue. I also like that Pastor Cal told them that it really doesn't matter the amount of arguments that a couple has. What's important is that the issue or the problem, whatever needs to be addressed, the conflict, is addressed and is solved. So I like that. I mean, I feel like it's probably common knowledge. Like, that was not like, ooh, new mind-blowing information, but I think it's a really important reminder that people probably need to hear again and again. Arguments are going to happen. Conflicts are going to arise. What's important is that can you both come together and work together as a team, respecting each other and listening and learning each other's styles and preferences and characters and personalities, and with that be able to address the issues. Lastly, let's talk about Iris and Keith. All right. I mean, I know I'm not saying anything new, but Iris is quirky, okay? Like, she is quirky. And that's okay. I mean, it's her personality, but like, Lord. And she is just a chatterbox. Chat, just mile a minute. But I actually think that her talking all the time and her just chatting up a mile a minute I think that is her buffer for maybe feeling awkward or uncomfortable with vulnerability and maybe physical closeness and physical intimacy. But I actually think it's even beyond the physical intimacy. I think it is even just more about just being close. Yeah. Like, in an intimate, emotional way. Even though Iris is a talker and she is curious and she's always talking to Keith and asking him a million questions, I think that I think that she's looking at it as almost like a job. Like, she's gaining information. She's just gaining information. And I think you can gain a lot of information without actually making a genuine connection. I think that you can make a genuine connection and only have a little bit of information. But to me, it's about maybe the quality versus the quantity. What y'all think? When it comes to connection, quality versus quantity. When Pastor Cal met with Iris and Keith, she made it seem like there was this big announcement, like, oh my gosh, tell him what happened. And like, we know what happened on the honeymoon, so I was like confused at first. I was like, wait, what are they about to say? So Keith, just being the patient, just loving and kind person, not being like, girl, what? He was like, oh, and then he shared the thing about losing his ring, and I'm like, that was the big announcement? Yeah, okay. Like, Keith lost his ring in the sand for 5 minutes, and then he found it. Whoop-de-doo. It was definitely, like, I think at first Pastor Cal was like maybe they were about to say, like, not a virgin anymore. But then it was that. And it was just like, womp womp. but like she was all like, I'm like, and I feel like that's part of her like not being like truly vulnerable. Just, she's like making a big deal about things that are really not a big deal, like tell him what happened. And it's just like, Iris, what? Honestly, it's because Iris is so cute. Like all of her outfits, like Iris is bringing it from head to toe, hair to accessories to outfits, like makeup, everything. Like that's why I'm not truly hating on her, because Iris, I'm feeling every look that you were putting together. I'm gonna need you to do like a little blog or do your IG page where we can see everything. So then their little conflict that they have this episode is that, Iris, when she visited Keith's apartment, she was searching around and just being curious, as they all were in each other's places. And then she finds his condoms. Well, actually, she found an empty box of condoms. Now, when she brought that out, I was definitely like, oh, shoot, like, what? Is empty? But then Keith, to me, like, Keith was like, oh, yeah, I brought, like, the 3 that were left for the honeymoon. And it was like, oh, duh. So you would think, like, okay, that would be fine. But the way that they edited her, / the way that Iris also went from 0 to crisis, was like, first of all, she called him a nymphomaniac, which was like, wait, what? How? They made it seem, by her saying that, and then the edit for the commercial, like, they made it seem like she was finding condoms all over the place. Like, in the bed, on the floor, under the bed, in the couch cushion. I mean, but, like, that's all she found, like, the empty box, And, like, first of all, I actually looked that up, and I was like, oh, actually, nymphomaniac. Did y'all know this? Nymphomaniac actually is supposed to only refer to a woman who is, like, obsessed with sex, as opposed to a man. The word is psoriasis, which sounds like a skin condition, Doesn't it sound like psoriasis, right? So Iris, you actually meant, are you a psoriasis? Do you have psoriasis? Keith did not freak out, but what I will say is, okay, Iris, I've been asking you for weeks to share with us how you feel. Do you have deeper feelings about purity and about waiting until marriage? Do you have thoughts about your husband's convictions and whether he has particular beliefs that are similar to you? Because again, for Iris, she was always presenting with, my virginity is for my husband. The gift is for my husband. I'm giving this to my husband, then it's like, oh, okay, so you actually do care about what he does and what his past is about. And again, I don't think it really has anything to do with her being a virgin, because people from that have been sexually active go hella crazy and buck wild when they find out about people's past and, past relationships, past girlfriends and boyfriends or whatever. So, I don't think it's really about that, but about like, well, what do you want? What do you expect for yourself? And then what do you want for your Keith was calm, and he just was like, but like, that was my past, or this really doesn't have anything to do with where we are presently. So let's, address where we are, and let's address us two. We are committed in this marriage, and, and let's look to the future. And again, like, I just feel like Keith's responses, not only his delivery is just so precious, but like his responses are like on point. And then Iris, like, I think that this is where she was able to let in just a little bit of vulnerability, because she was like, well, I mean, I guess, well, I want you to use them on me, and, I even was expecting for Keith to be like, all right, put her over his shoulder and like run her to the bedroom. But like, he didn't. He was like, all right then, so that's how you feel, whatever. It was like, oh my gosh. And then the main reason why I feel like Keith gets the MAFS award is because then he just said that he is ready and willing to wait with Iris for as long as she needs and as long as it takes. Patience of a saint. That's why he gets the award, y'all. Also, at one point, Iris asked if the clothes in the laundry baskets in Keith's bedroom were like clean or dirty. He was like, no. He was like, they're all clean. He was like, I just hate folding laundry. And I was like, I'll fold your laundry, Keith. I'll fold your laundry. I'll make your bed. Because Iris was like, his bed wasn't made. I'll make your bed, Keith. I'll make your bed too. Yes. Boy, oh my gosh. Anyway, so that's basically it. So what y'all think? Leave your comments and let me know what you think about this episode. Are you as concerned about Matt and Amber as I am? And do you think the MAFS award goes to Keith? Or do you think it goes to somebody else? And what you think about Deanna's outfit? I think her skirt was cute. I mean, I love me a maxi. A printed maxi, yes. I think she was cute. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Like this video if you like the content, and then subscribe so you know when I'm uploading next. All right. See you next time. Bye. Help is on the way.